Thank you, everybody, for coming. Tonight's career night will be about an hour talking to a top panel of agents. So we've got Tony and Sharice Jean Greco from the Mindright Real Estate team. Then we have Chris Ruskowitz from the CGR Real Estate Group. We have Maggie Behrens, Mandy Miller. We also have Stephanie Sosa, who's on here as well. All very experienced agents who've been in the business for quite some time, extremely successful. They'll all be sharing their experience with us. So it'll just be a panel of, panel of questions that I'll ask everybody in the group. So group, feel free to just pop in as I ask the questions. I've grabbed my paper. Sorry. Okay, so we'll get started with just brief intros. So I'll have the Mindright team go first. So if you guys just want to tell me who you are, how long you've been in the business.
Sure. We're Tony and Sharice Jean Greco, and we've been in the business since April of 2016. So it'll be 5 years for us this spring. Okay.
And you guys have a team?
Correct. We do.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We have the Mindright Realty Group. So as it stands right now, Tony is the lead listing agent and director of sales. I am the CEO of the team. We have a lead buyer specialist who is Katie Ninkovich. We have another buyer's agent who is Eddie Martin, and we have a transaction team, Melissa and Ty Nowak. They are a married couple on the team, phenomenal couple. And then we have a director of marketing, Ariana, and we outsource her independently. She's an independent contractor with her own company that we outsource for our marketing needs. So that is the dynamic of our team as it stands. And then we have media, which is Shutter Zone Media, owned by our daughter and our son-in-law. And that's Shutter Zone Media, and they do the majority of the listing photography for the agents in the southeastern Wisconsin and now Madison area. So that's our team dynamic.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Chris, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Chris Ruskowitz. I am the CEO and listing specialist for the CGR Realty Group. I started in this business in February of 1994. So I'm the elder in the group. Have a lot of experience, have experienced a lot throughout these years. I actually started before there was an internet. So I've had a lot of experience, a lot of different things that have happened throughout these decades. And I still love what I do and love sharing what I've learned.
And you have a team as well.
I do. I have a smaller team. I have a buyer specialist, Nicole Geiger, who does an amazing job with our buyers. And I have a transaction coordinator that actually is part of our office. So I work with Lynn Veresi, our transaction coordinator. And then I have an assistant that does all of our database management and marketing. And I also work with the Jean Greco's daughter and son-in-law because they do an amazing job with photos and videos and things for all of our listing marketing.
Awesome. Thank you. Mandy?
Hi.
Hi. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Mandy Miller, and I am a solo agent. I ended up getting into this business 2017, so I'm entering my 4th year actually next month. Yeah, I joined KW not this spring, but last spring. Became licensed with a different brokerage and discovered after some time that really wasn't the right fit for me. But we can talk more about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that later. Okay, and Maggie?
Hi, I'm Maggie. I've been here for 2.5 years now. So I am a full-time teacher and I do real estate as well.
Awesome. Awesome. And Stephanie, do you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Steph Sosa, and I've been with Keller Williams for about 6 weeks. I was licensed back in '92, and I was a licensed assistant. And then I spent some time in title and appraisal and lending, just so I could experience each side of the transaction. So I am loving being here at KW, and just love helping out other agents, and so just want to give back and share some of my perspective from being here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing that. So we're just going to jump in. So feel free, panel, to jump in where you see fit. So first question is, what character traits do you think are absolutely necessary to build a successful career in real estate? Whoever wants to start. Chris?
All right, I'll start. The traits that are so important, I think, are number one, to be learning based and be willing to grow and lean into others, because there's always something new to learn. To really learn the lessons from others and from your own experiences, and then to make sure that you understand what the job of a realtor is, and that you focus on your highest level activities and stay focused on them, because that's what will make you successful.
Awesome. Charisse, what do you think? Or Tony? What do you think are character traits that are needed to build a successful career in real estate, especially in today's market?
Do you want to take the lead on sure?
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback Chris, definitely have to have a growth mindset. There is so much to learn all the time. Every transaction is different. Every client is different. Every co-broker is different. You have to be to fail forward every single day. You are going to mess up, and you have to be okay with that, because it's the only way you can truly learn and grow. Work ethic. I mean, you have to work smart, but you do also have to work hard. You really have to put in the hours, because you get out of this industry what you put in. And if you invest just a teeny weeny little bit, that's what you're going to get out of it. If you go all in, there is no ceiling to what this industry can provide for you. It has been a blessing for us and our family.
Yeah, I concur everything that Tony said.
Maggie, you're probably one of our newer agents on the panel. So what character traits do you feel that you've needed, or that somebody may need?
Definitely a willingness to ask questions. Especially, it's okay to say that you don't know, but you'll find the answer and get back to them, but make sure you go back to them. That follow through is really important. The other thing is, most of my clients, just with my age, they're first time home buyers. So a lot of the tools that I use as a teacher, I use in my transactions as well, because it's their first time buying a home, and it's a huge investment for them, and it's scary. So breaking down the process, breaking it down, and not using, assuming they know what you're talking about, but breaking down the process, zooming and talking them through the contract and what the contract actually means, what they're signing. I think that helps develop a real sense of trust between me and my clients. And I think as a teacher, those are qualities that I learned as a teacher that I can easily transfer through real estate.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So Mandy, what do you wish you would have known back when you started your real estate career? Was there something that you wish somebody would have told you?
Well, interestingly enough, I got into this career with the thought that this would provide me with some flexibility, and it does to an extent, but you have to find a balance in that. I thought, since I would be my own boss, that I would be able to have a little bit more control over my own hours. However, in this market, when your clients want to see something, you're trying to do everything you can to try to make that happen for them. but then you also have, in my case, I have the family aspect I have to take into consideration. So it's not always as flexible as you'd like to think it is, but if you put together the tools and access your resources and leverage your business, it can be as flexible as you need it to be, and you can grow it into the business that you need it to be for yourself.
Perfect. Stephanie, what do you think? What do you wish that somebody would have told you back when you started your career?
Sure. I think definitely having a good database management system, keeping in touch with past clients, because those clients can be very fruitful for you in spreading the word about how good you did in helping them. Getting referral business is really key. And when I first started out, I just had a lot of business coming in. It was a building boom. And, you know, all of a sudden I woke up and I had no business. I had not done a systematic way of keeping in touch with people, reaching out. I didn't have people on even an Excel spreadsheet. So kind of reinventing that wheel. So just being very, you know, diligent and systematic about keeping in touch with people.
Great, thank you. Let's talk about habits. Tony and Charisse, what are some habits of a successful realtor?
Well, so Mandy had mentioned earlier, right? Like a lot of people get into this business because you can be your own boss. That's awesome, but also sometimes it's really challenging, right? Because who's going to hold you accountable if you're the one that's holding yourself accountable and you want to sleep in or play golf or, I don't know, watch Tiger King or whatever, right? So, you know, I would say early on in our careers, we were really blessed with Keller Williams about, you know, learning how to time block and to create the habit of time blocking, along with, you know, many other really amazing habits that we've kind of picked up, you know, to really truly be able to hold ourselves accountable to, you know, doing what we say we're going to do. And when we do it, because we have not only ourselves, but we have a team that relies on us. So I would say, you know, habit building, get into it immediately. If you're starting this business, whether you're a solo agent or especially if you're building a team, because now you have people that are really relying on you. So I would say, you know, start small, think small, or start small, but think big. We have, as the team, we've read The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan together. We've also read Atomic Habits together, because I mean, the reality of the situation is, you know, building habits aren't always the easiest thing to do. But I promise you that if you do start that habit and you do, you know, implement, you know, these little things throughout your week and your month, you really can create a lot of success and a lot of momentum with those types of things. And I don't know if you were going to say something about Atomic Habits, or
Can you tell us a little bit about that book?
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite books of all times. I've read it 3 times, and I'll read it at least once a year for the rest of my life. It's called Atomic Habits, and it pretty much teaches the fundamentals of how to hack your brain and how to implement and establish small atomic habits, right? It's like atomic is like the smallest particle, but also it can be like an atomic bomb with the impact that it has in your life. And so number one, the best habit you can build as any entrepreneur or any professional is get in the habit of building more habits. Become like dedicated and committed to constantly developing better habits all the time. And by strengthening those neural connections, you're going to continue to build on more habits and more habits and more habits. On a holistic level, try to have a healthier lifestyle, get better sleep, eat better food, exercise more, meditate and or pray, work on breathing, like stuff that makes you have good positive energy, because we work in a very stressful industry. It's very demanding. And if you're not at 100%, you can't give your clients 100%. You can't give your friends and family 100%. And you're going to be constantly drained and exhausted. On a technical level, some of the habits, lead generation every single day, especially as a new agent. If you're not generating potential clients, there's no point in being the best at drafting contracts or negotiations because you have no contracts to negotiate. So daily lead generation is probably the most important technical habit to build as a new agent.
Awesome, thank you. Chris, I know you're somebody who has very strong habits and someone to admire, I think, in that category. So can you talk a little bit about what your habits are and what has brought you to success?
Sure, be happy to. A lot of what Tony said is paramount to being successful in anything. The habit of lead generation, the habit of lead follow-up, to make sure that you're time blocking for the activities that are going to bring you the most success. And a lot of what we go through with reading the books that we read and teaching the one thing and so on are teaching you to pick one thing at a time, to set goals, and to protect your time block. And that, I think, is one of the biggest habits that is the most difficult, but the absolute most important. It's, yes, we all know what we should be doing and what our job is, yet if we don't protect our time, and I mean, there are no pop-ups from Facebook. My phone is there's nothing. And really focus on that, whatever it is that you have your time blocked for that time, you will get it done. You will get it done faster. You will be a lot more successful. So make sure that you protect your time block, build a bunker. If you're working from home, you tell your kids, your husband, your family, your wife, whatever, the dog, don't bother me for the next hour and a half, 2 hours. So time blocking, knowing what is the most important thing to do, and then setting goals. And the other habit is to know what your goals are and make them really, really small. Yes, you want to have big goals, but to do really small ones every week, even every day. And one of the things that I think helps keep us on track is to ask ourselves every day, what is the one thing that I can do today that if I complete it, I've had a successful day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's a huge habit, because that the more successes you have, the more you build on your energy and your focus, and you'll continue to have more success.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because as realtors, we can do our best to time block our day, and sometimes things happen that want to come in and interrupt that, and then really those things hinder us from getting to our ultimate goal. So having, like Chris said, a bunker around it and really being protective of it is important. Okay, let's talk about the beginning. So Mandy, we'll start with you. Where does your business come from? Let's talk about, first of all, where did your first deal come from? And where does your business come from now?
My first deal came from my sphere, and the
Okay,
majority
let's
of
talk
my.
a little bit about Sphere, just so that everybody's
Okay.
really clear about what. So Sphere is, when we say let's build a database or your Sphere, we talk about every person you know. Now we talk about not just your friends and family, but literally every person you know, your friends, family, your hairdresser, your dog walker, people at your church, people at your kid's school, everybody that you've spoken to is part of your sphere. So it's important now that if you're really considering starting a career in real estate, to start collecting that information now, because that is your database and that is where your business will come from. So sorry to interrupt, Mandy, go ahead.
That's okay. So my first deal came from my sphere of influence, and to this day, the majority of my business is still coming from my sphere. So I rely heavily on relationships and referrals.
Okay, and so what do you do to connect with them? How do they just know you're a realtor, so you're just the go-to girl, they just come to you? Or, because if that's it, I need to know your secret.
No, it was for having a system for how often I was going to be in touch with those individuals and how I was going to continue to successfully maintain those relationships, foster those relationships. if I ended up getting business through a referral, then I was, you know, fostering that, but also going back to the person who gave me that referral and making sure I extended them a warm thank you for that business and kept them up to date as to how things were going with the referral they gave me. Once I close a deal, I'm making sure I'm still staying in contact with my past clients through client events, through just random cards in the mail, phone calls, emails, just a quick follow-up to see how you're doing. Especially right now, because we don't know what we don't know. Unless we pick up the phone, unless we reach out to them, they're not going to openly share if there's something drastic going on in their life that we could possibly help with, unless we actually make that contact.
Yeah, perfect. Maggie, what about you? Where did your first deal come from, and where do your deals come from now?
So my first deal was family, and so part of it is I'm very lucky that my sphere is, and I have a very large family. So I'm one of 12 kids. So 3-4 of them used me as a realtor my first year. So I was very lucky because I had a very forgiving audience, or an audience who knew that I wouldn't know all the answers, but they also trusted that I had Keller Williams backing me up. And if I didn't know, I said, I don't know, but let me figure that out. And going to more seasoned agents, my mentor, who would all help me out with the transaction. From there, the referrals have started to roll in, and I'm starting to get people who aren't related to me, or who aren't friends, or who aren't family. But I also have a lot of people. The big thing is social media for me. It's free, and I can just share it, and I share it on my personal, and I share it on my business page. But my goal is, if you look on my business page, it's not like I have so many likes or whatever, but what I want, my goal is, if someone needs a realtor, they know they've been seeing me being active, posting closings, posting, articles, whatever I can find, for them to say, oh yeah, she's a real estate agent. And then that's how the referrals have been coming in. So that's been kind of cool to see that snowball from family into something more.
Awesome. So where did your first deal come from?
My first deal came from an open house that I was doing for my mentor. My business now is pretty much from my sphere of influence, repeat clients and referrals from clients. But along the way, doing a lot of social media, some lead sourcing, paid leads. But really in a position now where everything is repeat and referral, and it's very comfortable to work that way.
And the Jean Greco's, where did your first deal come from?
I don't remember.
I do. Our first deal was actually a Zillow lead.
Oh, okay.
It was.
No, our first deal was from a lender.
Or a lender.
It was from a lender. It was Mark
Packard? That wasn't
No. He had the condo in Greendale.
Oh, Jacobson. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a referral from a lender.
That is right. Yeah, that was our first deal.
And that was awesome. 99% of our transactions come from referrals. So from our forever clients, our friends, our family, our professional network. And that is 100% based on the level of service you provide to your clients, as well as what Keller Williams calls a strategic 36 touch, which is what everyone's talking about, having a plan that you are staying in constant communication with your database. So we do monthly postcards, monthly emails, quarterly magnets, quarterly events, and then we have a very, very strong presence on social media and Facebook. We really built the foundation of our business on social media, taking videos constantly, doing fun, goofy little stuff to get attention. And we built a really great local following. And then from there, again, you just deliver that elevated service, you continue to follow up, and it's just a cycle that continues to grow your business organically. We do not call FISBOs, we do not call expireds, we don't really door knock, we don't
pay for leads, we don't.
Yeah.
And
And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of agents that's their business model, and that's great, it works for them. But we just really took to heart the Keller Williams 36 touch model of, you have diamonds, in your backyard. Like,
well, and
everything
here's
is
the other
there.
thing too, like when you do an outstanding job for your sphere, like they're going to be your biggest cheerleaders. So you don't necessarily need to go out and pay for those types of leads when you've got, like, people that love and respect and admire what you've done for them, and they're going to tell everybody. That word of mouth travels really quickly. And so that's a really, really easy way, when you couple that with your 36 touch marketing plan, that's a really easy way to maintain that referral business. They're going to be cheerleaders for you and for your team and for your business. And so, as Stephanie said too, it's a better way of doing business. I would much rather do business with friends and family or forever clients that they know me, they like me, they trust me, and that rapport is already there, versus trying to, convert a cold lead from a FISBO or an expired, or a lead that's come in from a Zillow or a Redfin or wherever. So the gold is in that database and systemizing that 36 touch so that you're constantly marketing to your database.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, what about you? Where did your first deal come from, and where does your business come from now?
My first sale came from an open house for the builder that I was working for. I did not intend to get into real estate. We were in the process of building our third home, and the builder said to me, "Wow, you really get it. Do you want a job?" And I said, maybe I'll try it part-time. 26 years later, here I am. And my business is about 94% past clients or referrals from my past clients or my sphere. I've had, what they're talking about in a touch system is how to systematically touch everyone you've met, everybody that you put into your database. And I've been doing that since 2004. So what happens over time, number one, touching everyone is incredibly important. Emails, text messages, Facebook, postcards, there's a million and one ways to do it. And touching them is incredibly important because they need to remember who you are and what you're doing, and they will forget. So learn the lesson. National Association of Realtors does a survey, and every year without fail, it's usually around 75 to 80% of the buyers and sellers that they poll say, yes, they had a great experience. Yes, they loved working with their realtor. However, they can't use them again because they don't remember their name, because they haven't heard from them since they bought their house 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Don't be that realtor. So that's where most of my business comes. But some of us, and I've built a community over time. I take it a little bit extra, and a lot of us do. I have a charity of choice that I involve in. Jean Greckles do, Mandy does. That when we have client events, we do fundraisers for our charities. And it really builds a sense of community. And so your past clients, everyone you know in your sphere of influence, they're going to think of you when they know of someone that's looking to buy or sell, or if they're looking to buy or sell. But you're also have built really deep relationships with these people. So when they do refer someone to you, like Sheree said, they trust you when you walk in the door. And when you get to that point and they trust you when you walk in, they're not talking to anybody else. That's a pretty easy conversation to have when you go on that appointment. So yeah, most of it is referral based, and just by building that touch system and staying consistent with it.
Thank you. Okay, switching topics. So the National Association of Realtors says that roughly 85% of agents are out of the business in 18 months. That is a staggering statistic. So, Stephanie, why do you think that 85% of the agents get out of the business in the first 18 months?
I think one is not having a good mentor, not having a good training program, and getting in and thinking that it's something that can be just an easy extra income. I've seen a lot of people who have come and gone who are, maybe working a full-time job, and with the demands of people wanting to get out and see a house, maybe they can't answer their phone while they're on that other job. So there is, some kind of transition, and maybe Maggie can speak more to that, since she's doing kind of a dual career, but it takes talent to do that and still be in touch with people. So I think that sometimes people think it's going to be just easy money, and real estate can be very demanding, but it can be super fun too. I mean, I love my job. I wouldn't be doing it for 27, 28 years if I didn't love it. But there's a lot of knowledge that needs to go in. And, like Chris had mentioned, you're constantly learning and growing. Every day is different, so it's nice because no day is going to be exactly the same as the last one. But no matter how long you've been in this business, there's still something new to learn. Yeah.
Mandy, what are some of the reasons that you think agents, that most agents, or 85% of agents, will get out of the business in the first 18 months?
Oh gosh. Stephanie hit the nail on the head with a lot of those reasons that she laid out. I'd like to add in there though, if you're not prepared to figure out a balance in this business, sometimes it's the business that has to give. And if you're not planning and paying attention to your money and your needs, sometimes an easy way out is to give up on the business and go and find a full-time job somewhere else.
Yeah, Maggie, can you talk a little bit about how you've done it? Because you are a great example of an agent that has a full-time career and yet is still killing it in the real estate side of it as well.
Yeah, a lot of it is compartmentalizing my time. When I wake up, I go for a run, and then I spend an hour on real estate looking at MLS, trying to get the paperwork that I know I have to get out to lenders, get out to my clients. I try to do that before school. And then I go to school. Luckily, I teach 8th grade, and I have a boss who knows that they hired me knowing that I was going for my real estate license as well. So they're super supportive. I have my business card in the teacher's lounge. So if I have to take a call, they do, I try to do it in between classes, or if I've got to shoot a text out, I try to keep it primarily to text and email because that's easier. And I'm lucky because I teach 8th grade. The 8th grader, if they're silently reading, I can easily shoot a text out or do what I need to do. But compartmentalizing my time, and then I'll come home after my day and I look at MLS again. I shoot out more emails. But then at some point in time, I have to take a little bit of time for myself because that's so incredibly important. I think a big thing with real estate is you get burnt out. You can get burnt out very quickly if you're not careful. So yeah, I think that's how I've done it. My first summer, I was not busy. I was a nanny as well. Then last summer, I did a little tutoring. This past summer was incredibly busy. I don't know if it was COVID, or maybe just my business is starting to snowball into something more than I thought it was going to, but my summer was not a summer vacation. I was definitely working from 8 till 6, 8 till or 5 at night, just because I had 5 different clients or 6 different clients, and they were all looking for homes. And it was a market where as soon as they saw a home, you had to go see them, because by the end of the day it was gone. So I was very lucky that COVID hit when it did, because that was when my business was starting to boom and I was more flexible teaching at home. Now I'm back in the school, so it's a little bit more difficult. I'm definitely looking into phase 2 and what phase 2 is looking like for my business. But yeah, if you're not careful with compartmentalizing your time, being careful with your time, it's very easy to burn yourself out. And I think that's why a lot of people are out within, what is it? Did you say 18 months?
18 months, yeah. What challenges? Oh, go ahead, Tony and Therese.
So, well, I just think this is probably one of the most important questions and conversations for new agents to hear.
Yeah.
Because it can save everyone a lot of time if this
And
is,
money.
and money if this is not the right industry.
Yeah.
And Therese and I, it's funny, we
were jotting down notes on your question, and we both jotted down the same exact thing. So I think the first pieces of that is that a lot of times agents get in the business and they don't treat their business like a business. You have to treat this like a business in order to, have success and truly eventually have it, come around and evolve into something that is tangible, right?
For someone who's never been an entrepreneur or self-employed or own their own business, it is a completely different mindset. It's a completely different skill set to own your own business versus being an employee. Mm-hmm. No one is going to tell you what time you have to clock in and clock out. No one is going to fire you if you don't show up for work. So it is such a completely different type of world to operate in if you've never done it before.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think a couple of other things too was for us, and I think Stephanie mentioned this earlier, is if you don't have any support from your brokerage, or if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have any systems and processes that you implement into your business, I mean, that's really key. Especially if you want to scale your business, systems and processes are so important. And I also think, people that have a lack of accountability or lack of leadership when they get started in the business are probably not going to have as much success as those of us that are fortunate to get in bed, so to speak, with the right brokerage that has the right leadership, and you're being held accountable. A lot of people don't want to get into this business because they don't want somebody to tell them what to do, and they don't want to work 9 to 5, and they don't want to have accountability. And yet at the same time, if you really want to have success and you are growth minded, those are things that you really truly need in order to reach that success or to hit those goals. So
and also for me, I meet so many people that have all the skills and all the potential, but they drastically lack belief in themselves. They truly don't believe they can have success. And that's where having mentors and coaches and being in a community that thrives on success and abundance is really important. Mm-hmm. And Gary Keller said it at one of our conventions that we completely overestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years and underestimate what we can accomplish. No, other way around. Sorry.
Oh, he pulled a Therese.
Sorry, pulled a Therese. We overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 5. Mm-hmm. Just like any business, you are planting seeds that take time to take root. So everyone wants to make a 6-figure income in real estate in the first 12 months. And it's like, oh, I've been a realtor for 3 months. Why am I not making $1 million? It's like, give yourself some time. You can create a multiple 6-figure income in this industry if you just give yourself the time to plant the seeds, to nourish them, and to actually build a true business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I add one more thing to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That I think is really important that wasn't said yet.
Really?
Two things that I've seen over time of why agents, they get licensed and they don't last. Number one, be financially prepared not to get paid for a while. Okay. It's really important to understand if you show up and you do the work and you're showing up for training and you're listening to your mentor and you do what you need to do, you'll start seeing the results in 90 days, but that doesn't mean you're going to get paid. It means that you may have a buyer that's going to write an offer. Now it might take another 60 days. So number one, understand what your budget is and be financially prepared to not get paid for maybe 6 months, 5 to 6 months, could be a little bit longer, but at least 5 to 6 months. Secondly, it's really important to have support at home. Make sure that your family understands that, hey, I am now self-employed and I may have to be gone in the evening and I might miss dinner every once in a while because a house came up that buyers need to see. And in this market, you have to see it the same day. Make sure that they're behind you, that they're supporting you, and that they're going to help you, because if you don't have that understanding and set the expectations at home, they don't like it either when you're gone.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Up front that, you know what, I might be working all day Sunday. You're going to have to go to the bar. Well, if they were open, I guess they are, or sit home and watch the Packer game without me. I've got 2 open houses I'm doing because this is part of my lead generation. So make sure you have the funds to go for a while without getting paid, and that your family understands you now may be working some nights and weekends.
I think that's a really good point. I mean, having 6 months reserve is really necessary to get started. It really is. And having a really realistic expectation about what even your first year is going to bring in. I mean, I'll be honest, I was the rookie of the year for my company, and I made $28,000 as the rookie of the year. So it's certainly not, not going to help fund my, expensive handbag habit, my first year. So, but,
No.
being in it, if you think about it, I always try to tell everybody, if you think about it, it's like any other business that you would open. If you start, if you were to open up a storefront location I always go to a sandwich shop. I don't know why, that's my go-to, but it's not like, I must really love sandwiches, but it's not like your first, year, you're going to have, a viable business. It grows upon itself. And that's just like that. And that's having that business mindset that all of our agents have talked about. That's really important. So let's talk a little bit about KW. So not everybody on this panel started with KW. I don't even know, other than Maggie, I don't think anybody really started at KW. Raise your hand if you started at a different brokerage. I think, okay, well, that's interesting. Okay, so we're gonna start with Chris. So Chris, why are you at KW? What is unique about our culture that keeps you here?
What is unique, and this is the 4th brokerage that I've been at. I've been at this for 5 years this month, actually, when this particular brokerage started. What is so incredibly different is that, number one, you have training, you have support, you have mentorship. Nobody else does that. When I first started, there's a desk and a phone, go figure it out. And I'm not kidding, I'm serious. That's what it was. There's a desk, there's a phone. Here's a phone book. Call people, figure it out. Zero training, no help at all. And here, if you show up, if you go to the trainings, if you listen to the mentors, if you go to the productivity coaching, I mean, we have all of the resources to make sure not only someone new is going to be successful, but for the rest of us that have been doing this for a long time, Keller Williams International is Gary Keller's a visionary. We are years ahead of any other brokerage. So you also have an amazing amazing company that gives us amazing technology that we're not paying extra for, and training and coaching. Anything you want to learn, it's there. And if you can't find it, one of us will. And if we don't know it, we'll find somebody else that does. It's just, in the culture here is truly amazing. And I can't imagine being anyplace else. When you need something, people are there. Quick little story. My very first weekend, I needed help. And we had a Facebook page, and I put out, nobody knows who I am, okay? No one, maybe a few people knows who I am. And I put on the page, and it was our other offices as well, or at the time it was only Whitefish Bay. I said, look, you know what, guys, I'm double booked. Can somebody help me go to this inspection and start this inspection? At 7:15 on a Saturday morning, I had 5 people within 5 minutes text me and say, yep, I'll go do it for you. I'll get you started. I never experienced that at any of the other brokerages I was at. Never.
Yeah, I think that's so important, the way we support each other as agents. So Mind Right team, you want to talk a little bit about KW and why you're here, maybe what brought you here?
Yes. Well, we started at a really small boutique brokerage when we first got involved in the business, and we weren't even there, I don't think, 6 months, when we just absolutely knew that there had to be something better out there, and really we were kind of already searching. So we came to KW in October of 2016. So this month is actually our 4-year anniversary with the company. And I would say, first of all, Tony and I come from, other industries where it was very heavy on systems and processes being system dependent versus people dependent, and also a lot of training, right? So we came from a training background with other businesses, and we knew that there had to be a company out there that could provide that type of training, but also teach us how to leverage our business and not be people dependent and system dependent. Because if we wanted to scale our business, or if we wanted to, truly fund a life by design, we could not just depend on ourselves or the people doing the work. It had to be systemized. It had to be scalable. There had to be a way that we could fund a big life, but also a big business. And so we knew that coming to Keller Williams was really going to be key for us. Also, Chris mentioned culture, and we are a culture of abundance. We come from a culture of abundance. We come from a culture where people are happy to give you their listing presentation if you're new in the business and you don't have one and you don't know where to start. We come from a culture of, I don't know how to do a CMA. Can somebody help me? We have, so many people that are willing and ready and able to help each other out, whether you're a veteran agent, whether you're brand new to the business. It's just who we are. We just believe that when one person is winning and we set that person up for success, it has a trickle down effect. We're setting everybody up for success, not just within Keller Williams, but within this industry. And I mean, Tony has helped, co-brokes out from other companies that have needed advice, and it's just who we are. It's what we believe in. And so,
and a lot of that has to do, the culture comes from the leadership. And when you've got someone like Gary Keller, who has been running this company and influential in this company since day one, who's still beautiful mustache and all, like boots, on the ground, just leading the way for an incredible culture. That's it right there. A culture based on training, development, a culture based on abundance, a culture based on everyone helping everybody. It's just incredible. And success leaves clues. Like, no offense to any other brokerage, but when you look at the numbers and you do the math and you look at the track record of success year after year after year, buyer's market, seller's market, neutral market, Keller Williams #1, Keller Williams #1, Keller Williams #1. I mean, why would you want to be anywhere else personally? I don't know.
Yeah, and I would say the last piece of that, sorry, I don't want to take up all this whole time frame here, but the other really important piece of this too is that Keller Williams, they really teach you how to run a profitable business. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many units you've sold or how much volume you've sold, right? Like one thing I've learned in this industry is that we glorify volume a lot, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you did $20 million in volume if you have $20 in your bank account, right? So it's really, really a primary focus. Building wealth is a primary focus with this company, and just truly, you know, living a life by design, because you have a profitable business at the end of the day, and that's legacy, right? Then you can leave a legacy for your family, whatever that legacy is for you. So I could literally talk for hours about Keller Williams and Gary Keller and profitable businesses and all of that. But I feel so strongly on the subject, and it's just the best company that there is out there if you really truly want to build a healthy business, have a healthy profit margin, and, you know, be a good agent.
She isn't kidding either, though. She leads up our culture committee for our office as well, which I'm on that committee with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
As part of the culture, actually drove me over from the brokerage that I was at for a couple of reasons. If I can.
Yes, so thank you for leading
jump in.
Mandy.
So the brokerage I originally joined,
Yeah.
joined because I received my education through them. I went through startup training with them, and it was great. It was a larger brokerage, great reputation. However, I kind of felt lost within the brokerage. I had mentorship, but it wasn't as strong as I would have liked to have been. It didn't have the greatest experience with that mentor. And we would receive training. We had our weekly office meetings, but after our meetings, everyone went to their separate offices and all the doors shut. And if you needed assistance and you had to go knock on somebody's door, I kind of felt like I was an inconvenience to them. And when I toured KW and had some discussions with other KW agents who were already here, I quickly learned that closed doors rarely ever happen in our office. If you knock on somebody's door frame and you raise a hand and you say you need help, there's many people that are quick to offer a lending hand. This business is so, I don't want to say unpredictable, but like somebody else said, you learn something new from every single transaction. And sometimes you run into these situations where you just simply don't know because you haven't experienced it yet. But there's always somebody in the office that knows and can give you that information and can be that resource for you. And if you fail, we have a great group of agents and a very good culture and family-like atmosphere that there's always somebody there that's willing to extend a hand and lift you back up. And I learned that rather quickly. So that was one of my main reasons for coming over, is I didn't feel like it was operating in silos. I felt like everybody was coming from a place of abundance, and you didn't feel like you were constantly head-to-head competition with every agent that was in the office with you.
Thank you. I know, I'll quickly ask you, Sosa, because you've been here 6 weeks, and you were at your previous brokerage for how long?
7 years.
Oh, 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 7 years. And I know you're all in, like have KW swag and shirts and pens and stickers and like read every book. I mean, she is all in. Yep, got her everything. So tell us what your experience. Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
Oh,
I want one of those.
Yeah, it's like the busyness of real estate, and it says for the love of real estate. I love it.
That's so cute. Okay. So tell us, obviously, what's your experience so far, and what brought you here?
Yeah, so similar to Chris, this is my 4th brokerage. I did start out at a small boutique firm. And really, I think being here, I just wrote down a couple words because everyone else was saying such great things. I didn't want to forget what I had thought about. I feel like this career is really on the job training. So, you know, you're going to go through 72 hours of pre-licensing. And then at many firms, you're just kind of like set free. And, you know, like Chris said, yeah, there's the phone, go figure it out. And you can't do that. I mean, you're dealing with the largest purchase of someone's home. And I feel like the reason we all get into this business is because we care for people. You know, we love people and we want what's best for them and we want to help them out. But if you're just set out there, you know, like to a pack of wolves, you know, how are you going to write an offer? How are you going to know how to price it or, you know, win for your client? And so one of the themes here is rip off and repeat. And I know Charisse had kind of referred to that in a gentler tone. You know, someone's willing to share their listing presentation with you or, you know, help you create something. But, you know, if I've already done something, why should you have to start over from scratch? So if I can just share it with you and you change the branding and put your name on it, why reinvent the wheel? You know, there's enough business to go around. We're not in competition with one another directly. But one of my great things is just the stellar system. At other companies, you know, they claim to have a database, they call it a CRM, contact relationship manager, and a way to systematically keep in touch with people. The one that's here, I have seen like national trainers offer really phenomenal programs that they charge $250 or $300 a month for. And KW has built the most impressive computer system I have ever seen. Literally, it's like having a personal assistant in your laptop with you, and it's in your phone too. There's an app for you and an app for your clients. But this system is free. And there's training for you on how to use all of these things. And, you know, other agents have recorded little video snippets. There's a 66-day challenge on how to learn the system. So you can do like 1 2-minute segment each day, and then you're a master at it. So everyone is just here to help. And I think it's just, you know, the positive mindset. That's, you know, the culture. Everything is just so hands down, like, why wasn't I here, you know, like 2-3 years ago? I don't know.
We're just glad you're here now.
Thank you.
For sure. And I think Sosa did the 66-day challenge in like 3 days. FYI.
Well, maybe 7.
Okay, let's talk COVID a little bit. So how, we'll start with you, Maggie. So how is COVID, how do you think COVID is affecting our real estate market? And what have you done differently to continue to do business in the market? And what advice do you have for people getting into the market during these kind of uncertain times?
Oh my gosh, it's a jungle out there. That's for sure. So I want to preface with, I said a line out there earlier that I said I was blessed that COVID happened. I'm not blessed that that happened. I want to clarify that. I thought about that. I'm like, that wasn't great. I will clarify now. So when COVID hit, my schedule became far more flexible because I could work from home. So that means we cut back teaching time with the kids. And, you know, it was just so much easier to run like when I wasn't teaching, to go show a home. Interest rates were an all-time low, and it basically all of my first-time home buyers reached out in my sphere and just said, we want to go find a home. What happened then was we'd be up against like 10, 12, 14 offers, and it was really, really difficult. It was a heartbreaker, a few of them. And so I learned very quickly on how to set expectations with my buyers and really have that very blunt conversation of, you probably won't get your first offer. You probably won't get your second offer. And we learn and we learn and we learn how to make a good, aggressive offer, and they have to be willing to be part of the game, because if they're not, it is a waste of your time, and it's a waste of their time to drop everything to go see a home if they're not ready to be aggressive with it. So that's what happened. It was a lot of dropping what you had planned or trying to shift your schedule around to go show them a home. And that was definitely, it was great. I've had the most sales I've ever had. I've had the busiest business in my very long 2.5 years. I had a very successful, like since March, I've been just going nonstop. But you have to be willing to pivot with the market, and that's what I had to do. So as a teacher, it was, and then summer came, and then my schedule freed up a little bit more. But yeah, you have to be willing to drop what you have if you want to get the sale.
Anybody else want to kind of touch in when it comes to COVID and how it's affected our market?
Yeah, if I throw in something. Oh, go ahead. All right, I'll throw in something really quick. I think that first of all, we were very thrilled when they said that we were still essential, because there was a while there that all of us were freaking out going, oh my goodness, if we are not essential, now what are we going to do? And what are our buyers and sellers going to do that are under contract, that have jobs, that they're transferring out of state? We need to be able to help these people. So we were very grateful for that, but we did have to pivot. We did have to shift how we were working. So the things that we had to change were virtual showings, virtual tours, Zoom meetings. And so we have one of our phenomenal coaches started a 7 a.m. call Monday through Friday for 20 minutes. That 7 a.m. call was a mindset call, was a couple thousand agents and coaches from across the country getting together saying, okay, what's happening here? How can we help you? How can we shift? And our technology pushed forward probably 5 years in 3 weeks. And so we also learned from them is how to, I don't do in-person listing appointments anymore. It's all on Zoom. So we had to shift because nobody was really comfortable with us being in their homes. So that was a big deal. We shifted quickly, and we had a lot of help from Keller Williams International, from the region, and thankfully our photographer shifted quickly and started doing more virtual tours and 3D tours so that buyers can see a home without walking through it, to keep our sellers safe. And we had to change the way we did what we call lead generation, which is calling the people in our database, our sphere of past clients, and calling just to see how are you? How can we help? Because it hit all of us really hard. So we were able to shift with an awful lot of help, and technology was a big deal. And we're very grateful that they said we were essential and we could keep working and helping our clients.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, so, all right. Maggie, can you talk a little bit about like maybe some challenges that you would see for somebody who was going to go have a full-time job and start a real estate career?
With real estate, you always have to be on call, or you have to, you are, as my mentor, Julie, would always say, you are in charge of everything. And they always look to you to find them the answers. So it's difficult because if the other side's trying to get a hold of me, I've got to get a hold. Like right now, I had a foundation issues, I had a chimney issue. Contractors can only come during a certain time of the day. It is difficult to drop and there are days where I can't drop my full-time job to go do the real estate. And so it is difficult. And luckily we have a supportive environment at Keller Williams where if I can't go to a home inspection because that's the only time we can find a home inspector, I can post on the Facebook and see, hey, can anyone cover this for me? So my clients know that I have them covered. They are still a priority to me. And that's the difficult part, is making your clients still feel like they are your priority while they know that you have a full-time job as well. And you can't. There are some days where you just can't drop everything to go do something for your client. But you've got to have a plan B. You've got to have a backup plan. And if you don't have that, I mean, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to do it successfully.
Yeah. Thank you for that. What do you guys think newly licensed agents should consider when picking a brokerage? What are some of the most important pieces when you're first starting out?
I'll go. I think the training, the systems, the fee split arrangement, those are a lot of the big items.
Okay. Mandy, what do you think?
I'd say the leadership.
Okay.
I think that makes a big difference, especially if your leadership has a great deal of energy, and ours does. A significant amount of energy, which is great because it some days fuels me. So it's good.
Right. Mind right? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everybody. You need the right leadership, you need the right culture and community, you need the training and development, and you have to have the systems and processes in place. So if you miss any one of those, it could be a recipe for disaster. You can have great systems and processes, but without correct mentorship and people that help build that belief, you're not going to have the motivation or the encouragement to pursue the systems and processes. Just like if you have a great, culture and everyone's excited about having success, but there's no true roadmap, step-by-step instructions of how to accomplish it, you're just ignorance on fire doing accomplishing nothing. So it's really having that perfect storm of the technical aspects and the personal growth and development aspect.
Awesome. So I have two. We'll ask two last questions. Ask two more questions, and then we'll let our panel go. And I always think this is an important. The last two questions would you share with us the production that you or your team did last year, and if you have one piece of advice for the people on this call today, what would that be? And we'll start with you, Chris.
Okay. Production, 11 million in sales. I think the best piece of advice I could give to anyone starting out is to be all in. Show up for the training, be all in. Know that there's a huge team here for you, but if you are not all in, it's very hard to feel successful in the beginning. So just be all in and stick with it.
Great piece of advice. Stephanie?
Sure. 9.6 million, 36 transactions, solo agent. I would say be patient. Like Chris mentioned, you have to be all in, but you have to know that it will take some time to get to numbers, like what Chris and I have. It could take you 5 years to be there. You might be a super rock star and you could get there in 3 years, but know that you're building a business, whether you're selling sandwiches or ice cream. I would see, Tina, I would start an ice cream shop. Okay.
Sandwiches, I don't know why.
Not with you guys.
But to be a successful real estate agent, you are building a business. You're building a network. You're getting to have a sphere, know and trust and refer to you, and it could take you 3 to 5 years to have 3 dozen transactions. So be patient.
Be patient. Yep.
Give yourself time.
Oh, sorry. Maggie?
I wish I knew. I think I'm at right now $3 million in sales. I would say keep all your receipts. Be very organized in that because I'm really bad about all of that. And taxes are coming. I'm like, gotta go through my Amazon purchases. No, but like be organized. I had to get a desk for my place. I had to, I have a binder full of contracts that I read through. And know your contracts. That's another thing. Actually know the contract so that when they ask you a question, you can refer them back to that contract. So that do whatever you can to make it look like you are the expert. Go to as much training as you possibly can go to.
Yeah, that's great. The whole receipt part's a great. Our productivity coaching was all about like accounting and receipts and taxes today. So that was perfect. Mandy?
Oh, last year. Well, last year was an interesting year because of my switch. So from one brokerage to the other. But I would have to say that's really what kickstarted my business, was making that switch.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say probably, I think it was somewhere around 6 transactions last year, and maybe I think I was close to 2 million. But this year alone, I've already exceeded that. I exceeded that by the time end of March rolled around. So I'm tracking to 2.5 million in volume for this year. I had a little bit of slowdown into this quarter, but I'm pretty sure based on what I'm looking at in my numbers that this will be my best year yet. And I think I'll clear 2.8 in volume by the end of this year.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So do you have any advice for somebody looking to get in the biz?
Oh, a lot has already been said here, but I agree with keeping track of your expenses. Know your money, know what's going in, know what's going out. Really have a clear understanding as to what you need to set aside when it comes to covering your taxes, because those can come back to bite you and surprise you. And in addition to that, have a plan. Have a plan for how many transactions you think you want to do for the next year. How much volume do you think you want to do? What do you want your average sale to be? How do you think you're going to accomplish that? How many open houses do you plan to do? Planning is really key if you're really going to try to keep track of your time and try to keep yourself from having burnout. And I know it was mentioned before, but I can't be stressed enough. Have a really good support system. I've been lucky. Like, this year is my most successful year in the business, but a lot of it has to do with the support I've had behind me. Many of my friends and family, some took it very seriously in the beginning of this and were supportive from the very start. My husband's been awesome about all of this and understanding what it takes to build this business, and has been very supportive. And we did some significant planning to make sure that we could have that money set aside to be able to allow me to build on this business and actually have a year in my third year of being able to make a profit is something that I'm very proud of. So have those cheerleaders and surround yourself with people that are going to have that positive energy to lift you up on the days that you're having a hard day. And don't be afraid to fail, because you're going to have a lot of people that are still going to don't be afraid to fail. Learn from your failures, but don't be afraid to pick yourself back up. Surround yourself with people that have that energy, because they'll push you forward on days that you're having a hard time doing it yourself. And don't be afraid to ask questions. And I had one other one, and it was a good one, and I just lost it.
That's all right. If you think about it, just pipe back in. Okay, Mind Right. What's some advice, and would you be willing to share your production with us from last year?
Sure. So last year we did about 12 million in volume, 57 transactions, and about 340,000 GCI, which is gross commissionable income. But what we're more excited about, and this goes back to how COVID impacted our business and why Keller Williams is the best place to be and why our market center is the best market center, is that in 2020, we'll end up closing 2020 at about 20 million in volume, 90 transactions, and about $600,000 in gross commissionable income during a pandemic. And if that doesn't put an exclamation point on the fact that this is one of the most amazing industries to be in, Keller Williams is one of the most amazing brokerages to partner with, I don't know what other industry or entrepreneurs are saying right now, yeah, we grew our business by, we almost doubled our business in a pandemic. So those are our numbers, and that's really because of our team and because of community that we have here at Keller Williams, specifically our New Berlin office. My number one advice to everybody in anything is work harder on yourself than you work on anything else. Because without focusing on your personal growth and your professional development, nothing else matters. You got to work on yourself every single day, become the best version of yourself that you can be. And, a byproduct of that is going to be your business, is going to be your income.
You guys probably can't see that, but the letterboard behind us says growth inside fuels growth outside. So that's really what Tony was just saying. But I would say for me also, the biggest piece of advice that I could give somebody that's new coming into the business is, a long time ago, a mentor once said to me, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. And I would say take that piece of advice and carry it with you, whether you're in real estate or you decide to go into another industry. It would be just always be humble and stay hungry to learn. Have a thirst for knowledge. The more you grow exponentially as life goes on, the better life really gets, in my opinion. But always stay a student of your industry. Come here ready to learn, come here ready to grow. And you would be amazed just with that switch of a mindset, what it could do for you and for your business.
Such great advice. Such great advice. Did you remember?
I did. Don't compare yourself to others. It's good to learn from others, but don't compare yourself to others. If you compare yourself to the top volume agent in your office, in your market center, you're going to beat yourself up repeatedly if that's the type of person you are. And you're going to end up setting yourself up with a negative mindset. You need to come from a mindset that this business can be abundant if you let it and you put the work into it. But every person, if you compare yourself to agents that are top of the leaderboard every single week, every single month, and that starts to make you feel bad, that's not a good thing. So you got to understand that it took them a while to get to where they are, and it didn't happen for them overnight either, and it's not going to happen for you overnight.
Right. And all the failures that came with that, getting to that point, right? People don't understand sometimes that there's a lot of, failure, and there's a lot of struggle, and there's a lot of really, really hard work that goes into seeing that number that's on the leaderboard. So, that's a really, really great point.
Yeah, excellent point. I think this amazing panel of agents, I know you guys are all super busy, and the fact that you've taken your time to be here this evening is just provides so much value to people looking to get into the business or thinking about doing it. I mean, really over $45 million in production just between you guys alone is really impressive. So I thank you all so much for being here. And so I'll let you guys get off, and I'm sure you have like 50 emails you have to respond to and 35 texts, and I'm sure of it. So I'll let you get to that, and then whoever wants to stay on, we'll just discuss now about what it takes, like the next steps if you want to move forward with getting into real estate. So thank you guys so much.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys. So I know some of your faces. I don't know all of you. So tell me now, is anybody on here actually licensed or has passed their exam? I know Anthony is, right? Yep. Okay. Don, you've passed your exam?
Yeah, and I apologize. I won't suck up your time. I'm kind of ghosting you guys. I am actually an agent in Houston, Texas,
Oh,
but born and raised in Wisconsin, and I actually have my broker license. And I am going to be coming back full time at some point in the next couple of years or less, part time in the meantime. And Terry Lewis, who is a very good friend from New Berlin, was just loving you guys and saying, you got to come, you got to come. Don't start your own thing. You got to go under Keller. So I'm likely to try and get a team going at some point soon. And I'm just kind of listening in and hearing things.
okay, perfect. So you're in Texas and you're gonna leave the warm weather and you're gonna come here?
I am. I actually graduated UW Milwaukee and came down here for warmer weather and business opportunities. And it has been very, very good. But my entire family, which is huge, is still in Wisconsin. I'm the only one that's ever left. So I kind of like to get back and kind of miss it. I miss my Badgers. I miss everything. So at some point, I'll be back there before long.
Okay, you do know it snowed today. I'm just gonna
I've been
literally.
watching your weather every day. Yes, and I am considering that. But
It literally, I got in my car and I'm like, it's snowing. What the heck?
I know in October, it's crazy. But I'll adjust again.
Okay. All right. So Don, and I know Anthony is licensed. Anybody else licensed? No.
I passed the test, but I'm not licensed yet.
Oh, congratulations. That's exciting. Okay. And Eric?
I'm the same. I've passed the test. I've not. When I passed the test, I was still living in Illinois, so you can't get your license if you're not a resident of Wisconsin. You have to have a brokerage sponsor you. So, but we're in Wisconsin now, and
Welcome.
Yeah.
I like it here. It's very nice.
You like it? Good. Good.
Yeah.
Were you living in downtown Chicago?
Yeah. Not in the Loop, but in Logan Square.
Okay. Okay. So we'll start a little bit. We're going to go a little bit backwards. So, I guess we'll start at the beginning. It's fairly simple. So if you're looking to start to get into real estate, if you're looking to just take the real estate exam, the real estate course, you can order that through me at Keller Williams. You do save $100 if you do order it through us. It does not mean that you have to sign a Keller Williams, just know that, but you do save yourself $100. It is a combination of book work and some online work that you would do. It's 14 chapters, and you take a quiz at the end of each chapter. You have to get an 80% or higher to move on to the next chapter. At the end, there's a mock exam that will set you up then and kind of give you the questions that you would need for when you go to take the real exam. So you take the real exam. Just so you know, when you do order that course, you only have 6 months to complete it. So make sure that you've done it within a time frame that you'll be able to complete it. I would say most people complete it within 3 months is usually the typical time frame, give or take your schedule and how much you're really able to dedicate to it. I can definitely be a source of questions if you have questions as you're going through it, the same as Stephanie Sosa. I'm sure she would be happy to answer any questions as you move through it. So if you are interested in ordering the pre-licensing exam course, you can just email me at the email that you've received, which is like 1120re@kw.com, or just Tina Reddick at KW will work. So that's that. So now you've passed your exam. What's next? So you passed your exam and you would come, you would email me and let me know that you passed your exam. And then you would start your 7-step process in order to get an onboarding appointment with Keller Williams. So And you can also do this during, if you're taking your pre-licensing course. We, just so you know, we do not hire everyone. That's just not our motto. We need to make sure that you fit our culture, that you have a mindset of learning and abundance and growing. And we want to make sure that it's a partnership that's really going to set you up for success. As an agent in Keller Williams, you're our client. So from the leadership perspective, the agent is my client, and I need to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to make that client or that agent as successful as possible. So we have 7 steps to start. The first is that you would build a database in an Excel spreadsheet that would have a minimum of 50 contacts. And I will email this out to everybody so that you have it. So, but like we talked about earlier, your database is your spirit. That is 99% of the time, that is where your first deal is going to come from. And we want to teach you how to work that from the minute you walk through the door. We want you to have a professional looking headshot. Okay, like, do not send me a picture of yourself at the beach, like at the Brewers game with your friends, in your car, with your cat. Nobody cares. Send me something that you want to put on a business card, that you want to put on some marketing materials, because we're going to start doing that right away. Okay, so we've got database, we've got business cards, or a picture. I want you to order the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. I don't care if you do it on Audible, Kindle, or a paperback. That is the book where we do all of our teachings. That is the book that this is where, yeah. I mean, this is where when our agents talk about systems and models, things that, when I moved to Keller Williams 1.5 years ago, last year my business was up 22% as a result of what I did in this book. 22%. And I was really happy with where my business was before. So imagine how excited I was when it was up 22%. I mean, I would, like, you know, not every agent wants to be a mega agent. Not every agent, you know, wants to be a $40 million team. It's really, your business is where you want to be. And it's going to change over time. Like, you might be at this point in your life and your business is going to be here, and then you're going to be here, and then you're going to be here. And so I really wasn't looking to grow my business, but literally by just putting in place some systems and some models that Gary Keller and top agents across the country had already implemented, my business just organically grew, holistically grew. So I want you to buy that book, because you're going to need to know what we're talking about when we say systems and models. There's going to be 2 podcasts that are from the Think Like a CEO podcast. That's Gary Keller, that you'll listen to. Just gets you in the mindset of thinking like a business owner. There's a Google form that you'll need to fill out. I'm trying to think of all of them. I should have had them in front of me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 2 more, and for some reason I can't think of them. But what it is, like I said, I'll send it out to you. It's your business toolkit. It's what you need to start your business. The one thing that we did add to it today is, if you are going to get into real estate, before you start, open up a separate checking account. Open up a separate checking and savings account, because you don't want to commingle your funds. If you owned a sandwich shop, my go-to, you wouldn't put the proceeds from the register into your personal checking. You need to run it like a business, and you need to treat it like a business. And so by doing that, by opening up that separate checking account, you're going to need that when you onboard. So you've done all of that, and you would send me, you need to attend 4 open houses from the perspective of a buyer, because I want you to walk into an open house and see how other agents are running their open houses. I want you to witness that and see that. So you're going to collect 4 business cards, and you're going to send them to me so that I know that you've gone. And then, like I said,
the last one, Tina, is attending 5 of our trainings, or like the Morning Mojo.
So the last one is you would attend 5 of our in-house training, the most important one, and I forgot it, of course. The reasoning is because I want you to start, so KW, like any business, any place, if you're a teacher, you're a doctor, you're a mechanic, it has its own language to an extent, has its certain, what we call Kellerisms that we're gonna use. So I want you to start just being exposed to that, so that when you get into our training program, it's not the first time you're hearing that. I also want you to understand what you're getting into. What are the expectations? Like, I'm gonna tell you whatever you see on HGTV, this is exactly opposite. Could not be any more opposite. Like, get that all out of your head. It's not like that at all. Like, and know that literally getting the accepted offer is the easy part. Getting it to the closing table is where your skill really comes. That's where the skilled agent, the skilled negotiator, that's where it really happens. So I wish it was just like, here's 3 houses, pick one. Like, no. So that's not how it works. So don't, whatever you think, turn off HGTV, throw your television set out.
There's no en-suites in
And
this.
just get this. Yeah. This is your new HGTV, people. Okay. So you've done all that. You've given it to me. Now you get an onboard appointment. So you come in, we chat, whether we chat over Zoom. I know I've chatted with some of you already. We just discuss kind of expectations. And then you come in and you onboard with our Director of Agent Services, Abby Lacey. At that time, you would pay your fees. So to be a realtor in the state of Wisconsin, you have to pay board dues to be part of the Greater Milwaukee Area of Realtors, the National Association of Realtors, and the Wisconsin Realtors Association. Right now, the board dues are roughly $1,400. That's if you were to start today. So that covers you for the end of this year and all of 2021. So they're gonna run anywhere between $1,000 to $1,400, depending on what time of the year you start, because it is a prorated scale. So you would pay those dues, and that would only cover you for that first year. And then your board dues are due by December 14th of that year. So any agent who started, like Sosa and I, we both have to pay our board dues by December 14th. That's what officially makes you a realtor. Without paying those, you're nothing. So also our monthly bill is $108. So that's the bill you're gonna pay whether you have a sale or not. That's $50. Really, the Keller Williams portion of that bill is $53. So you have your $50 tech fee, which goes for all your technology. It gets you that command platform that Sosa was talking about earlier. And then all the other, our document management system, our electronic signature system, all of those things. And then we also have a $3, what's called sunshine fee. It allows us to collect this fee so that if there's a death of one of our agents, we can send them love, send them some flowers, things like that. The other fees, the other part of that 108 is going to be a $30 MLS fee, which you would have no matter what brokerage you're at. That's just a pass through. We do have to pay a monthly fee to be part of our MLS system. And then a $25 errors and admissions insurance. So every agent needs to be covered under an errors and admissions insurance policy so that in case we make a mistake on a contract, we're covered. Any questions? Okay, now you've passed your test. You did your 7 steps. You got your onboarding. You paid your fees. Let's start selling some real estate. So you come into our launch program, our productivity coaching program, and you're in that program for your first 5 transactions. You are paired with a launch mentor who is another agent in our brokerage, a high-level, high-producing agent that you are going to shadow. You're going to be with them on all the buyer presentations, listing presentations, home inspections, closings. They're your go-to person for your first 5 transactions. They're going to review every single one of your documents before they go out the door to make sure that you've crossed your T's, dotted your I's. They're going to help advise you on your contracts. They might question you, like, this is a very competitive market. Why are you writing this? Why are you doing this? They might, because it's one thing to write an offer, it's a whole nother thing to get it accepted. So you'll have your launch mentor. Like I said, you're with them for your first 5 transactions. And then you also have a business coach, because the one thing you'll notice is that when you're taking your real estate course, it's only talking to you about contractual real estate law and how to keep yourself out of trouble. It doesn't talk to you anything about running a business. And if you notice, every single one of our agents on this panel today talked about running a business. So you're paired with a business coach. That business coach will be Stephanie Sosa. She will be your business coach, and she will be meeting with you weekly in a group coaching session. The group coaching session is really meant for all the agents in the productivity coaching program to come together, share wins, losses, learn from one another. And then there's also weekly workshops that are business building workshops. So we're having one tomorrow, and it's all about lead genning, and it's geared to get agents an offer within the next 37 days. Because really, what we do now shows up 90 days from now. Mm-hmm. So if somebody doesn't have something in the pipeline, if somebody's not working with a buyer, the likelihood of them getting paid in 2020 is not going to happen. And there are some agents who have been in our program since COVID, since March, who still don't have an offer on the table. Like, imagine that. Imagine going through all of that, all of what you've just done, everything we just talked about, paying all those fees, doing the course, dedicating all this time, and you still don't have a paycheck. Like, holy stinkeronies, like big time. Like, that is not cool. So our goal is really to get you into production as fast as possible. We'll provide the training and the mentorship. It's really up to you to plug into it. Mm-hmm. And
motivation, if you show up, I think every one of the agents that were on tonight talked about connecting. Chris talked about being all in, and I think that's the disconnect, and that's where when Tina's restructured some of this, and like the 7 steps, it's really to get you thinking in that right mindset about running a business, so that when you come in, you can hit the ground running. Where some of the people who had joined earlier on, maybe they didn't have that same, planning ahead, and some people don't show up to the trainings. And I mean, it's really 3 times a week. If you come and plug in for an hour and a half, it's going to really change your career.
So let's talk about requirements. So required non-negotiable trainings the first month you're with us. Unfortunately, and this is what makes it really hard for our dual careers, but from a compliance brokerage side, we have to make sure that our agents are capable of writing contracts. I mean, we have to, because yes, you're writing it, but you're writing it on brokerage paper. So really, it's the brokerage's contract. So non-negotiables are, the first month you start, our Monday group coaching, which is on Zoom from 3 to 4. So 4 Mondays, 1 hour. Tuesdays, we have workshops from 1:15 to 3. That's in-house at our New Berlin office. Again, first month is the non-negotiable. We want you to be there. All of this stuff is always running. We want you to be there more than that, but we're just saying, if you're gonna open up a business, dedicate a little bit of time to learning how to do it. So, and then Thursdays from 10 to 1 is our launch orientation, and that is where our compliance broker, Cindy Coos, pours into the contracts so that you know them line by line and exactly what each line means and why you're writing it. I mean, it's really important, and that's where we really do a lot of the compliance work. So that's the first month. Our launch program resets every month. So whenever you would start, you would just jump in at that beginning of the month, and then you'd be part of that launch program. We also have a 90-minute tech orientation with our labs advisor. And so that's where she runs through all of the tech with you. That's usually the first Tuesday of the month that you start. Any questions about that? And I know that that's tough for some of our dual careers, but we've found that many of them have been able to work around schedules, take vacation, that kind of stuff. So, so like I said, so you're in our launch program for your first 5 transactions. That's where the real strong support comes from. There's a lot of things that are geared specifically for agents in the PC program or productivity coaching program. You'll be linked on an app called Discord, where you'll be communicating at a really high level with other agents that are newer. So for instance, our September group of agents that just started, they're communicating at a high level. They're out door knocking together. I mean, unheard of that they're out literally door knocking together. They're holding open houses together. I mean, there's definitely strength in numbers when you're new, right? Nobody wants to go and like hold an open by themselves. Listen, I would still love to hold an open with somebody. It's a lot better that way. So they're really doing things at a very high level, and that app helps really connect you. In general, our market center just provides an enormous amount of training that really depends on where you are in your business. So for instance, right now, Steph and I are really dialed into our numbers, knowing exactly where every single one of our dollars are going, so that we know that we're running a profitable business. Like Cherie said, right? It doesn't, if I made $340,000, well, if I spent $320,000 to get it, does it really make a difference? No, it doesn't make a difference. But if I made 340 and I spent 80, yeah, now I'm pretty happy. So, but we don't know that unless we're really looking at it, really purposeful about it. So that's where Keller Williams really sets you up from a business mindset with all the trainings and teachings that they have. So that's my spiel. I will open this up now for questions or comments or concerns, or if anybody just wants to tell me something. Anybody?
So I have one, and I don't know if it's applicable to the group. And I actually did reach out to Maggie because I'm also a teacher. So my mother-in-law works for Keller Williams, Ann Thompson, and then my best friend Mia Gennaro just started.
Oh, she's our director.
Yeah. Yes. So that's kind of those are kind of like my 2 connections to it. Obviously, though, I'm not in a place to have the flexibility to take vacation or do anything right now. So I guess my question is, do I apply for the license before this 6-month time is up, or whatever time frame I have to do from passing the test without a brokerage, wait until the summer to start the process when I have more flexibility to attend meetings during the week? What would you recommend from that perspective, or how do I go about that?
So here is, I have like a bunch of teachers right now. I mean, it's crazy how many teachers I have. It's literally, like I have a whole group. I probably have like 7 teachers that didn't know each other that are all in a study group, that are all doing the pre-licensing right now, that I've all connected on a study group. Okay, so this is what I say you do. I say that you apply for your license on your own. You don't have to attach it to a brokerage. It's called putting it on ice. So it'll hang at the state. But the reason I want you to do that is because I still want you to be in the mindset of, I'm a real estate agent. I just am not working in real estate right now. But because if you know somebody that is going to buy or sell, you can refer them to your mother-in-law, and you can collect a 25% referral fee or you can, I don't know if that's weird with your mother-in-law to ask her for money, but like you could refer them to somebody like Sosa or one of our panelists. I mean, and just
She'll really be in trouble with her mother-in-law.
but I don't know, is that weird to collect money from your mother-in-law? I don't know how that works. Like my mother-in-law probably would have not been happy with that, I'm gonna tell you right now. So you'll have to work that out. I can't help you with that. But by doing that, that allows you to collect referral fees. So you can still work your sphere. You can literally still build your database, work your sphere, call your people and say, hey, I'm getting into real estate. I'm working right now with my mother-in-law. If you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell, and then you can work with her, like shadow her as much as you can, be part of the process. But don't let these next 4 or 5 or well, probably like 6 months go by and like, cause you are gonna find somebody who's looking to buy or sell. And you're gonna be like, doggone it, shoot, I missed it. Here's an opportunity for you to do that. And then as soon as you wanna start at Keller Williams, then it's really actually easy because it's just a license transfer and you're in our system.
Okay, so then do I still have to do any of the like continuing ed or any of that if I'm applying now?
Okay, so don't apply until after the 26th of this month, because if you apply after the 26th of this month, well, so you've already missed the continuing ed cutoff, which is great. That was October 2nd. But if you wait until after the 26th, then you don't have to pay the renewal fee, which is, well, I don't know how much that is, but it's coming up. So just do it after the 26th.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. My wife and I are looking at potentially going in as a team, similar to one of the, actually the couple that you had on before. Do we both have to be real estate agent licensed, or are there other combinations of, for example, one licensed, one an assistant, things of that nature?
Yep, you definitely could structure it that way, one license, one assistant, but just know that the assistant can't do any license activities. So they can't show properties, they can't draft documents. So the assistant is really more of maybe like a transaction coordinator and marketing per se. So if you're looking to do it, then if that's going to work for you, know though that so Keller Williams is a capping model. So when we talk splits of what we're going to pay to a brokerage, there's some brokerages that are like a 50-50 split, like a Shore West is a 50-50. So if your commission is 2.4%, 1.2 is going to go to the brokerage, 1.2 is going to go to you forever, no matter how many. I used to be at Shore West. Believe me, I know. So Keller Williams is a capping model where you pay $27,000, and once you've paid in that, then you make 100% for the rest of that fiscal year. So when we have husband and wife teams, you guys are in that cap together. So there's no extra added cost from a cap perspective. You share that cap. So my husband is actually on my team, so it's not like I pay 27 for him and 27 for me.
And if you're not at, a high level of production, you're not paying in 27,000. You're paying in at a rate of 20% of the commission that you're earning as you go. So some people can cap in 6 months, some people cap, in 10 months. And then so the last months of the year, then they're keeping 100% because they've hit that max. But like for Tina and her husband, or the Gian Grecos who were on before, they're paying one $27,000 fee. And if they're at 12 million or 20 million, that's all they're paying. If they had that same business at another company, they could be paying 30% or 50% all the way, all year long, forever and ever.
I left Shore West when a recruiter called me and said, do you know that you've paid Shore West $67,000 to work there? And I said, no, I'm leaving now. Let me grab my box.
Also, do you have any financial advisors that are also real estate agents with Keller Williams?
I mean, I'm sure there's 180,000 agents across the country, so I'm sure there's somebody there, but I can't think of anybody who is in brokerage per se. I think that's probably a really great tandem career to have because you can speak at a high level about financial advisory things. And I know homeowner is one of them.
I know I would have to check with my firm Woodbury to make sure that it's an approved outside business activity, but that's what we're looking at. I have 25 years in the banking and finance industry, including, commercial banking, mortgage, retail banking, and then financial advisor for the last 12 years. So looking at expanding out, incorporating my wife into the business as well. And we think it might be a good sharing of, knowledge transfer from one industry to the other.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be. I think it would be.
Well, thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? All right. Well, I hope you guys found value in this evening. Thanks for really hanging in there. I know it was a long night, but I do appreciate you hanging in. And feel free to contact me directly for anything, tinareddick@kw.com. And I'll be happy to help any way I can. Bye, guys.
Night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.